You better think once if you think that it's okay for you to talk to me like that. If we get a divorce, then you'll be the one on the street, you parasite.
My husband, Will, sneered at me as he said that. Apparently, my husband did not know how much I had contributed to our family. I was so angry that I filled out the divorce papers that he had shoved in my face, right then and there.
You finally signed the papers, huh?
He says that as he smirks at me. Well, you better be proud of your victory while you still can. You'll be the one who gets hurt later, though. My name is Reese. I am 32 years old and I am a full-time housewife. It has been 1 year now since I got married to my husband, Will. One might think that after a year of marriage, one would still be enjoying being a newlywed, but that was not the case for me. My husband became a very strict, bossy husband as soon as we got married. My husband and I met at a blind date. I am a little ashamed to say that I entered the company where I worked for, having graduated from an all-girls college with little experience in love and having romantic relationships. And after becoming a company employee, I was so busy with work that I had no time for romance. When I realized that I had reached this age, I panicked a little and began to participate in blind dates. And that was where I first met Will. He was also an office worker at a company, and he was 2 years older than me. Being of the same age, we had a great conversation, and it was fun. He asked me for my contact information, and after exchanging them, he asked me out on a date. It had been so long that I had forgotten how to go on a date, but he took the lead and we had a great time. After that, Will confessed his feelings for me, and we started to go out.
Since we are at this age now, I want us to be together with marriage in mind.
He had said that, and we proceeded with our relationship smoothly, with me being aware of the possibility of marrying him. We continued dating for about a year and then got married. I had never been in a relationship before, and I think it is a miracle that I was able to get married. My friends around me kept saying to me, it would be perfect if only Reese could find someone good enough for her. And since I was the only one single out of my friend group, I was the one most surprised that I could finally get married. I was so happy to be congratulated by so many people at the wedding, including from my friends and my colleagues from work. I realized that getting married was a really happy thing. But now I think about it, the wedding was actually the peak of my happiness. After marriage, I quit my job and became a full-time housewife, as my husband had asked me to do before, and since becoming a full-time housewife, I worked hard at doing the house chores properly every day, cooking and cleaning, and doing the laundry for my husband. But despite all the efforts, there was one thing which was just hopeless, and that was my husband's earnings. Although my husband had asked me to be a full-time housewife, he earned less than I had expected. We could manage to make ends meet and live together, but it was still difficult to be luxurious, and it would be very difficult if we ever had a child. But my husband put a lot of pressure on me by saying,
I'll do my best to earn money, so don't slack off on the house chores.
I think I should really ask Will to have the company increase his income a little more, or I should earn money doing a part-time job. But my husband seems to value that a wife should definitely be a housewife, and it seems difficult for me to tell him how I want it to work. So I have been living off from my own savings when I go grocery shopping most of the time. Whenever I tried to cut back on the budget for food, my husband would immediately ask me,
We don't have much dishes today. Why are you slacking off?
So, like this, I have to cook a lot and serve a lot of dishes to satisfy my husband, which also costs me a lot of money since I had to get a lot of ingredients. When I add in the rent, utilities fee, and other expenses, my husband's salary leaves us with at most $100 each month. Because of this situation, I cannot even afford to buy my own clothes or cosmetics. Still, I had fallen in love with my husband and married him, so I wanted to make sure that our life as a married couple was good. But then, in the midst of all this, my husband complained to me.
Hey, the money I can use this week, isn't the amount a little too small? I mean, $100 is really nothing.
What? But...
What do you mean, but? I'm gonna get a little more money from our shared account, okay?
How much are you going to take then?
About $300, I think.
No, that's a little too much, don't you think?
Excuse me? What the hell are you saying? If I say I'll take some money, I'll take some money here.
But... Since Will was too clueless, I thought that I had to tell him this, so I said this to my husband boldly. With the amount of what you earn, Will, we can only have you take $100 from our shared account.
What? There's no way. Your way of controlling the family finances is clearly not good.
But even if you say that, I can't have you take more than $100 while you won't let me cut down the budget for our food.
You really are a useless scumbag wife.
Excuse me? When I had boldly argued against him to let him know of our current situation, he began to treat me horribly.
If you go against me like that, then I'll divorce you.
Huh? Why would you even say that you'll divorce me?
It's because you won't obey me. Do you realize that if I leave you, you'll have no choice but to become homeless? So just obey and do as I tell you to.
And my husband forcibly took $300 out of our shared account and forced me to make ends meet with the rest of the money that we have. But when I cut back on the food budget, Will would make a scene and complain again, as usual. At this rate, we would not be able to make a living, and we would just lose more and more money. So I made up my mind to get a second job. I'm actually really good with computers and machines, and I was an engineer when I previously worked at the company. I found a site where I could register and work as a freelance and receive requests to create web pages and help out with IT-related services. I put my working experiences and other information so that I could get work. At first, the jobs were pretty cheap, but I was still happy to get them. Even if it was only $100 to $200, it would still be a lot of help. And it was kind of fun to be able to work for the first time in a while. From then on, I worked hard to get more and more jobs on my own. Then, as my performance increased, the unit price per case went up. I found myself earning about $500 a month about 3 months after I started the freelance work. With $500, I can afford a lot of things. Earning some money seemed to stabilize my mind with all the concerns I had, and I was able to spend my daily life more peacefully than before. But recently, my husband began to spend money really lavishly compared to before. He started buying expensive clothes and accessories. Hey, aren't you spending too much on your clothes and your accessories? I mean, how can you buy such things with the $300 that you have? I simply wondered how he was buying things, so I asked him. Then my husband said something which shocked me.
Oh, well, I withdrew money from our shared account and spent it, of course.
What?
You said you don't have any money, but you have it all saved really well.
I quickly checked the bank book on the bank app of our shared account. Then it turned out that the money I had saved on the side had decreased by a lot. Oh no.
Since you lied to me that we don't have much money, I'll reduce the amount of money I give you.
Huh?
And I'll be taking $500 per week for me to use it for the week.
No way. That's too much. How much more do I have to cut back? As you can imagine, I had reached my limit. I couldn't let my husband do whatever he wanted any longer. You should at least understand my hardships a little. I'm working so hard on your limited income, and I think you should at least be praising me and being grateful for it. When I said that, my husband's face turned red, and he got angry.
You've got to be kidding me. You have some nerves to insult me, huh? Wow, you really pissed me off. Now, I'll be taking $700 a week. If you don't agree to it, I'll divorce you.
Saying that, my husband took out some documents from a drawer. I beg your pardon? Why do you have these divorce papers?
I prepared all this just to make you feel threatened. So if you ever go against me anymore, I'll really divorce you.
This is just completely unbelievable. How can Will be so arrogant and selfish like this? But unfortunately, at that time, I was still earning a small amount with my side job. If possible, I would like to raise my income a little more. Besides, now that my husband has taken the liberty of increasing the amount of money which he would take for the week, if I don't raise my own income, the cost of living will become really harsh. I worked harder than ever and tried to take on more work. But then one day, my income suddenly increased. I began to receive work from several clients on a daily basis with a higher price. I found myself earning about $4,000 per month. At this point, I didn't need a husband who was being very bossy and strict with me even though he didn't make much money. Then, around that time, my husband began to pick on me again.
You really don't have much variation in the dishes you make. You really are a useless, good-for-nothing wife. You're a full-time housewife, so why are you so bad at doing the house chores? You're not even pretty, and you're useless as a housekeeper. You're the worst.
What do you mean, a housekeeper? Have you been looking at me like your housekeeper instead of your wife?
Of course. I took in a dull, plain woman like you as my wife, so you better be grateful I even did that for you.
Excuse me? I can't believe you. You really are the worst.
You better think once if you think that it's okay for you to talk to me like that.
While saying that, he took out the divorce papers and shoved it into my face.
If we get a divorce, then you'll be the one on the street, you parasite.
My husband Will sneered at me as he said that. Apparently, my husband did not know how much I had contributed to our family. I was so angry that I filled out the divorce papers that he had shoved in my face, right then and there. My husband was momentarily surprised, but seemed happy as he looked at the divorce papers I had signed.
You finally signed the papers, huh?
He says that as he smirks at me.
When you're out on the streets being a homeless, I'll make sure that I'm going to film you on my phone. Ha ha ha. Now pack up your stuff and get the hell out of here.
Well, you better be proud of your victory while you still can. You'll be the one who gets hurt later, though. I did as I was told, and I packed my bags and left home. And I immediately stayed at a hotel. My parents' house is in the countryside in another district, so after spending a night in a hotel, I went back to my parents' house. My parents were surprised that I had suddenly returned home, but they were furious when they heard what had happened. After relaxing a little at my parents' house, I decided to punish my husband for treating me so terribly. In fact, I had suspected something was fishy ever since my husband started to spend a lot of money on things. So, I had asked a private investigator to look into my husband. And it turned out that my husband was having an affair behind my back with another woman. What's more, his mistress seemed to be the wife of the manager of the department where he worked at. So I sent a content certified letter to Will's company, and also sent the department manager the photos and documents proving that Will and the manager's wife were having an affair. Soon after that, I received a phone call from my ex-husband.
Hey, what the hell did you do?
What do you mean? You were sneaking around and doing bad things, so I only let the public know about it.
You've got to be kidding me. Because of you, I have no position in the company now, and I'm already in a lot of trouble, you know?
My ex-husband's affair became quite a problem within the company, and first of all, he made the department manager very angry, which apparently made a really bad impression to the upper management about my ex-husband. So, Will had a pay cut and was transferred to a regional office as a demotion in the end. It must be really difficult to take a pay cut when the salary is so low to begin with. I even think that being in freelance would be way better, and you can still earn much more than working at Will's job. Oh yes, and of course, I'm going to ask for alimony from you as well.
What the? How dare you? What the hell do you have against me that you'd go that far to make me suffer like this?
What the hell are you saying, Will? Did you think that I wasn't angry at you for abusing me and saying all these horrible things at me, and then having an affair with another woman behind my back? Oh, don't you worry, you're going to hell. When I said that angrily, my ex-husband suddenly sounded weak and sad.
Wait, I'll change myself, so let's just start over.
What are you even talking about? How am I even going to benefit from that?
No, I have income, so if you get a part-time job or something, we can both make ends meet.
Well, that's too bad because I'm already earning $4,000 per month.
Pardon?
I make quite a lot as a freelance engineer, you know. All I need is a computer to work so I can go anywhere and have fun while I work. So there is no need for me to remarry you.
No way.
My ex-husband seemed really shocked to learn that I make significantly more money than he does. But it's none of my business anymore. Well, I have nothing I need to talk to you about anymore, so I'm hanging up now.
Oh, hey, wait up!
With that, I hung up the phone and blocked all incoming calls from Will. After that, I put a restraining order on Will to prevent him from coming over to my parents' house, and I moved to Thailand, which had been on my mind for a long time. Currently, I am living a comfortable life, working from home while living in Thailand, where the cost of living is pretty low and reasonable. Since I've experienced enough with my love life, I think I will continue to enjoy my life on my own in Thailand. It's pretty lame that Will has a low income even though he was the husband and he was acting all arrogant like that. And it's disgusting that he was also having an affair. A man like him really should go to hell, treating his own wife like that. Reese could have punished him a little more, don't you think? But whatever the case, I am glad that Reese had divorced Will and has a better life now. I hope Reese will continue to enjoy her life in Thailand and be happy. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.